Hi, I'm Marvin Joles, and welcome back to the Line Striping Painters Tradecraft Series from Titan. At Wis-Coat, we use Titan line stripers because of the straightforward design. It works well within our system. Our guys are able to train on these and make sure that we're able to get our jobs done correctly and on time. Let's take a look at our process and let's get started. When unloading, make sure that the paint level inside of your bucket isn't high because you could have spillage, could get on your shoes, could get anywhere and cause another hazard. And be sure to look for hazards behind you as you're unloading your machine, as your trailer could have had things move around in that process. We don't want any tripping or anything like that that could result in injury or damage. When chalking lines on a new layout, be sure to find a great frame of reference to make sure you're square when starting. This is where you're going to take your measurements from. After you've found your reference point, you're going to need to measure for each stall and make your marks. After you've made your marks, you'll go back and chalk your lines. And let's remember, we're gonna have to chalk a back line. Therefore, wherever our starting point is, that would be the front of the line, we need to measure back and make sure that that's equal along the whole way so we have a square area where people are gonna be parking. Once your lines are chalked, you're gonna be ready to paint. At Wis-Coat, we use solvent-based acrylic traffic paint. We do that because with the Titan machines, it works really well and efficient. We can leave the paint in these machines over multiple days because we don't use them every day, being an asphalt maintenance company. When we go back to striping or need to, the machines are ready to go. It's important to make sure you're gonna set up correctly and at the right height because we're gonna have to deliver the right width of line on that chalk line that we placed down earlier, and we need to make sure that it's sharp and correct. At Wis-Coat, we prefer to use the Titan 419 spray tip in our line striping machines. This is a universal tip for us. It works at different heights between 6 to 8 inches or so, because you're gonna have differences, whether it's the viscosity of the paint or the temperatures outside. You're gonna need to make some adjustments to get yourself to that 4-inch wide line that you need for your parking stalls. At Wis-Coat, we use the optional Titan Line Sight Laser accessory. It helps us line up at the beginning of our chalk lines and guides us along our chalk line to make sure that we have that 4-inch width and a nice straight line for the parking stalls. When it's finally time to start your project, you're gonna start on the right side of your project, especially if you're doing parking stalls. You're gonna work from the right to the left because your paint is gonna be coming out on the right side. When you back out, you wanna make sure that you're not backing through fresh paint. If you start on the left side, you will back through your freshly painted lines. When we start painting our lines, we're gonna start painting from that back line that we chalked. Now, when you get here, you have a couple options. You can do a smooth rolling start if you're a little skilled, or you can use something to start off of, such as a shingle or a piece of wood, something to get going to make sure that our back line stays straight and all of our lines are even on these stalls. So let's remember that we're working on pavement and not everything is smooth. If you have blemishes or anything like that during your painting process, just keep going and stay on track. We can always go back and touch things up. Similar to how we start our lines, you can finish those lines just the same. A lot of times when you're striping on asphalt, there's a concrete curbing there. You can put a shingle down for a nice crisp line and protect yourself from paint getting anywhere you wouldn't want it to be. When it comes to stenciling, you're gonna wanna make sure your stencils are clean before you start your project. If you don't, when you go to hit them with paint, you could have pieces flake off or get trapped under your paint. Another thing to remember is that you want your stencils to be level when you go to paint. They could be warped. Therefore, lay them somewhere where it's nice and smooth, that way they can straighten out. And also, when you place them where they're going to be painted, make sure there's no debris underneath them so the stencils set level on the pavement. After you finish painting, your stencils are gonna need a few minutes to dry out. Once they start to dry out, you wanna make sure that they're secured when you go to travel. That way you can clean them again before your next project. Thanks for watching Painters Tradecraft with Wis-Coat and Titan and learning how to prep and paint your lines.